This is fun though. You got the two all-pro quarterbacks, first and second team, probably the top two MVP vote getters. Lamar's winning that generally if you just follow the all-pro votes. But watching this game, Chuck, we'll go Ravens offense, Bills defense. What are you checking out? Just a very, very fun game.
Demolition Derby, baby.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for. Talked about it last week. We talked about it after the when we did our weekend recap the other day. But to me, that game on Saturday for the Ravens from a game plan perspective, it felt like a statement to the rest of the AFC. Hey, we're running the goddamn ball, okay? And it's not a bad plan because throughout the whole past few days, where when I've peeped over to just see what people are talking about, there's still been a little bit of ire about what the Steelers did game plan wise against the Ravens. And I'm just like, man, I think you're missing the point here of what actually matters. The fact is, you have two Hall of Fame players in their prime, and doesn't really matter what you call. Like you're just screwed. So, because people were saying, they were just crashing against Derrick Henry and trying to scrape over and leave a linebacker for Lamar Jackson. I'm like, yeah, you get on a whiteboard and you draw it up. That it looks fine until a linebacker has to tackle Lamar Jackson in practice, not in theory, in practice during a playoff game in the open field. It's really hard to do. It's like that's what the Ravens have kind of done to the run defense that they face. Like you can draw it up however you want, but we have Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, and that's the equalizer. And I think that what Derrick Henry has done to this offense that they didn't quite have last year with Gus Edwards, even though they were a good running team. But like the truth is, as long as you have Lamar Jackson, your team is going to be one of the best rushing teams in the league. But when you add Derrick Henry to it, it just adds a whole nother element that takes pressure off of Lamar in a way that I think he kind of needed for some of these games, just to get back into it. Because as much as we love Lamar, we talked about it. I'm sure we talked about it last year with the Chiefs game, the AFC title game. I know we talked about it this year after the first game they lost to the Steelers. He has these moments where he starts pressing, and it's not good, because he has the talent to do.
You know when it's coming too,
right? You know when it's coming too, right? Right. Yeah. And right in that Steelers game, they got out of sync early. Derrick Henry had the fumble, and you were just like, oh man, this is about to be one of those games, and it was, and they were just all out of sync, but. Then you kind of start to figure out, like, okay, what are we good at? We run the ball well. So you come out against the Steelers, your first playoff game, after you kind of jumbled it last year. You're calling RPOs, but he was still holding the ball in his hands, and it wasn't quite working. No. We ran the ball 18 times with Derrick Henry on first down. We got 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's the meat of it right there. And I know that Buffalo's defense, I think they've gotten a little bit better, but it's also in the territory of the Lions that we talked about before. I don't know if I care, because I don't think that even the Ravens off the line is a great unit, but you have Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, and that's such a trump card. And even then, with if you look at outside of that, some of these guys aren't great, but there's just like physics that end up happening. When you put a 380-pound guard in Falale behind, you have a 300-pound fullback in Ricard behind him, and you're handing the ball off to a 6'3", 250-pound running back, that hurts. It's just hard to slow that down physically every single play. And I just hope they come out and just smash it again. Like, whatever the haters say about throwing the ball, that is fake. It doesn't matter. It's not real. What matters is hoist that Lombardi trophy. And how you get there is by spamming the ball and absolutely crushing teams on the ground.
It's the ability to pivot. Like that's what you have to do. And everyone has a fastball or a major that they want to do. It's the ability that you don't suck at the other things. You're at least competent. It's like, we're a run first team, but when we do throw, we're at least competent. You're not garbage. That's playoff football. It's like you have to be able to do a lot of things well. Just in case, because these game plans get so hyper specific and so hyper focused, just like in a general thing. Like me as a former quality control coach, every coaching staff back in the day until we got more data, it was if I'm playing a team in week 8, I'm looking at the 4 previous games and any previous matchups we had against those teams. And that's what we would break down, and because that's what most recent what they're doing. Now, once you get to the playoffs, these staffs look at all 18 games or 17 games plus the playoff game. Then it's not just 7 red zone plays I'm looking at for my cut up or 14. It's every single one. Yeah, it's more work, but then these good staffs and the good coaches go, and this is why we're talking about the Chiefs at the top of the show. This is what they do so well, is go, okay, every time you're in that formation, we have this check. Every time you're in that formation, it gets so stuff you wouldn't do week to week, but you can do it for 1 week. You can do these calls for 1 week, and just for 5 plays, the investment is worth it. So that's why it's like, for me, I have to see what the game plan is for the Bills, because like you said, a lot of this is just physics. Once you get to cold weather, the physics of size matters more than speed or other things. Tackling hurts, blocking hurts. But if you're big, it's just math. It's just that I'm able to be bigger than you. Zach Lowe talked about it with defenders in the NBA. He says size is the great equalizer. I say pass rush, but that always sticks with me with football. Is size is the equalizer. Yeah, you're fast, but what if I could just barrel over you? Yeah, but when it's cold and everyone is moving 80% or 70%, okay, well then the speed goes down, size stays the same. So and that's why this matters for these games. It's the irony of getting 2 guys from Florida to be a cold weather team is not lost upon me. To give Lamar Jackson-Derrick Henry to be the cold weather guys is pretty funny. But I just think they have a lot of, again, natural answers. The Bills want to be in nickel. They want to be with 5 DBs on the field every snap, and they'll match most of the time, even if the Ravens want to be in big ball, and which is what they're going to do. All right. Well, the Bills like to do, the Bills do have their linebackers back, which is a difference from the first week or the first time they played. The thing is, Matt Milano and whoever else they want to put at linebacker, they're not like 250-pound pluggers. They're 220. They're going to have to take on Patrick Ricard blocks. That it's just, again, it's physics of it. Even if they're really good players, then even like coverage-wise, Bills run a lot of cover 2, and they run a lot of split safeties. Lamar is phenomenal against cover 2 and split safeties. First in EPA, second in air yards per attempt, because he launches that. There's no checkdowns for Lamar. Lamar is throwing digs. Lamar is throwing benders. Lamar is throwing hole shots. That's why he's awesome. First in yards per attempt, 5th in success rate. Bills run split safeties a bunch, 5th highest rate in the NFL. So again, it's just a lot of stuff that the Bills want to do. The Ravens can just go, okay, we'll pound the rock and then drop back, and Lamar is going to launch the ball to kind of take you out of those looks. Having said all that, Bills have shown that they're willing to get a little funky with their game plans in these big games. So what kind of wrenches they throw, I'm very curious, especially on passing downs, 3rd and 4th down. They got the linebackers back. Do they try and play base with 3 linebackers? They don't usually do it, but it's playoff time. You can do different stuff in playoffs. So it's more a conundrum for the Bills defense than anything for the Ravens offense, is how I want to kind of put it.